Hi, we're still on week one, and I think this is video number 6. And in this video, I'd like to talk about good vocal projection. Okay, now some of this we've kind of already covered some of these points in the previous video, but I'm going to go over them again with specific ideas about your voice. Now, it's very important that the room and the people in the room can hear you well when you are speaking in a presentation. Okay? And there are some things you can do to make sure this happens. Okay? The most important one, and it's very obvious, and yet time and time again I see people making this mistake, is that you face the audience when you're speaking. What tends to happen is that people are standing in front of the projector screen and here are their points for PowerPoint. And then they go, today my topic is talking about product XYZ551. And I have 3 main parts to my presentation. First, I'll be looking at the background, then I'll be looking at the... You see what I'm doing? Every time I want to say something, make some point, I turn around to my PowerPoint screen and I'm talking to my PowerPoint screen. This is the most basic error you can make. Okay? How can you avoid this error? Well, it's very simple. Well, there's a few things you can do. 1, make sure that your presentation slides, your PowerPoint slides, are not full sentences. If you write full sentences on your PowerPoint, you have to read the full sentence off your PowerPoint. A, we shouldn't have full sentences on a PowerPoint slide anyway, and B, if we do, it forces you to read it. Okay? Your PowerPoint slides are just notes for you. So I can look at my board, new product XYZ551, and I can go, today my topic is new product XYZ551. I have 3 main parts to today's presentation. In part 1, I'll be giving you the background of this product. In part 2, we'll be looking at the features of this product. Okay, maybe still not great, but much, much better than talking to the screen. Don't talk to the screen, talk to your audience. So make sure your PowerPoint slides are just notes to remind you what to say next. So this says background. You know from the phrases you learned in those sheets earlier that you say, okay, first I'd like to give you some background to our project. Okay, so you had a 1-word prompt. You can't look at this for a long time because it's just 1 word. You have to combine this with your phrases and give it to the audience. So first, I'd like to give you some background to the development of this product, for example. Okay, good. So that's one of the important things. If possible, and this is often possible, your PowerPoint slides might be on the screen, but your laptop with the same PowerPoint slides can be in front of you on a table or on the lecture stand, the lectern. Okay. This means that you never need to turn around and read from your screen because your laptop has the same information. Again, be careful, don't be reading from your computer. Use it as prompts. So, today my topic is new product XYZ551. I have 3 main points that I've divided my presentation into today. The first one, I'm going to give you the background to this product, etc. So, avoid situations where you can of reading from screens. Keep your PowerPoint phrases short so that they just act as a way to remind you what to say next. Never ever speak while you're still facing the screen. Look at the screen if you need to, but look at your audience when you're speaking. That's one of the key ways to make sure that you will be heard in the room. Okay, if you're not using a microphone, you'll need to speak with quite a big voice. Some things to think about while you're doing this. One, as we mentioned in the last video, it's so important to breathe, okay? Big deep breath, say what you need to say. Give yourself another breath. Every time you're talking, you're actually breathing out, but maybe you don't notice that your breath is going out and out and out. No, make sure that you breathe, okay? Again, strong stance, strong body language, feet apart, body is straight, chest is expanded, not bent over or anything like that, so that you have this full capacity here. Try to breathe from your diaphragm, which is like around here, around your stomach area. And when you're giving your voice, if you need to say your voice very loudly to the room, try to use this diaphragm to push out the air. Try not to be using the lungs, they're much weaker. Use your diaphragm to push out the air. Deep breath, use your diaphragm to push out the air. As I said, strong stance, head up. Okay, if you have a lot of people in the room, if you have 5 or 6 rows, you should be aiming to talk to the back row. You should be talking to the people at the back. It's no good looking at the guy at the front and speaking in a normal conversation volume for the guy sitting in this chair if there are guys sitting 10 meters away. You need to project to the back of the room. This isn't the same as shouting, but you need to aim for somebody, maybe focus on 1 or 2 people in the back of the room to give you the calibration of how loud you need to speak. Of course, you can vary this and look at other people, look at people at the front, but just always bear in mind, head up and aiming your voice at the back of the room. Okay. Another tip, this one may be a little more difficult. This is also a very similar thing for singing, but try to make your voice vibrate your forehead, or even try to make your voice around here, in front of your forehead. By this I mean that your throat is kind of open, your body is straight, your throat is open, and when you speak, and I'm not shouting, but I'm speaking loudly, when I speak loudly, I can feel that my voice is vibrating above my eyes, around here. And you can even imagine that your voice is somewhere out here, and again that makes your voice very clear and projects your voice to the back of the room. This is a more difficult technique, and it's one that you'll need to practice not for the first time when you're in a real presentation. You'll need to practice this by yourself when you're in an empty room or in a big lecture theatre. If the seats are like this, you need to be projecting your voice to the back of the room and thinking about having your voice resonate here in your forehead, or even just in front of your forehead. This kind of opens your throat, gives you lots of volume. But remember, none of this will work well if you forget to breathe. Please make sure you take good deep breaths when you speak, and always remember to breathe the next breath. Okay, I have one last thing to say. Now, of course, in some big rooms, you won't be expected to speak just with your voice. Maybe you'll get to use a microphone. Now, microphones are great, but they actually do require a little bit of skill to use well. Now, if you have time before your presentation, if you can set up the night before or set up early in the morning, try to use the microphone. Practice with the microphone, because different microphones have kind of different sweet spots. Some microphones you need to be closer to your mouth. Some microphones you can have them far away and you can still be heard very nicely. But some microphones you need to be close like this. I watch people give speeches, and a lot of them hold the mic like this. But if it's the kind of mic where the sound needs to go in here, then this is a terrible way to hold a microphone. Some microphones it's okay, you can hold it here, you can hold it here. But many microphones, the sound needs to go in the top this way. And if you're holding the microphone like this and talking this way, the microphone is getting basically nothing. So practice with the microphone before you give your real presentation. Try to find whether it's okay. Can you hear me if I speak like this? Can you hear me if I speak like this? Okay. But be very careful about getting too close to the microphone. It gets in the way of your mouth. Many microphones, especially cheap microphones, don't sound so good if your mouth is too close to them, because it makes it very bassy. And also, when you're speaking, things like pa and ta, pa, actually blows out air. And when you have your microphone too close to your mouth, the microphone picks that up. Pa, put it down like that. Again, sounds terrible. So basically you need to practice with the microphone. Generally you'll need to be at least 2 or 3 inches away from your mouth with the microphone. With other microphones you can maybe go further away and it's okay. Lapel microphones, maybe they're okay. Some microphone on a stand. But please try and practice with the microphone beforehand and make sure you know how to make the microphone work well for you. Because I see a lot of people not doing a good job. It's no good having a nice mic if you hold it here and no sound goes into it, for example. So please practice with your mic.